What is going on, everyone? Can you see me? Can you hear me? I think we're going to do a Husky. I feel like we're going to do a Husky draft. 10 entry max. I kind of want to max this one. $40 buy-in. I like the payout structure. I like that we get the 3 out of 12 as the first advancement. Then 2 out of 8, 1 out of 6. It's like, still pretty difficult, obviously, to get to that final. But it's a little easier than a lot of the other payout structures. Some of these are really difficult. Best Ball Mania is obviously super difficult to get to as a payout structure. So I feel like we do one of these, and I want to max out this contest, but we'll join into that in a second. I don't want to wait too long on this one because I feel like maybe it's going to be slower to kind of to do. So you know what? Yeah, let's just do it. We'll join into one. We'll make sure we can actually fill it on time. Fire away the questions. Anyone that has any, I'll answer anything. We've had a decent amount of news since the latest news video. I feel like every single one of these Saturday videos is going to be so massive, just like breaking down the last week. But yeah, it's like I posted the Saturday video and then it felt like, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, we just got bombarded with some bits of news. The biggest ones obviously being Mooney going to miss a lot of time. It seems like he's going to miss most of camp, which stinks. And then Mixon, unknown. This has been a lingering foot issue he's had like all off season, which is not something you want to hear. So not great news for those two. Definitely, I obviously adjusted the rankings, but cratered that. Neighbors injury? No, Neighbors, I haven't seen anything with the Neighbors injury. That's a lingering thing that's been since college. Don't worry about that one. Yeah, a couple injuries. Minor one for Pittman today. I don't know the extent of that one. Pearsall's back. Likely today. Seems like he rolled his ankle. Multi-week injury for that, but they don't 100% know. I think there's an MRI coming. So Neighbors said he'd be ready for week 1. Yeah, but you don't know that yet, and it's still camp. Like, it's different, missing a couple weeks in season and then coming back because you know what the role is. When you miss this time in camp, they're developing game plans. They're kind of figuring out how this offense is going to run. You miss all of camp. That's a really, really big deal. And so it impacts the upside you can have in a season. Obviously, you can get going after that, but it really does impact things when someone misses that much time. So it's not good. All right. Here we go. We have 2 left, by the way. I'm in the Husky. For anyone who wants to join in right now, $40 buy-in, 10 entry max, top 3 in your pool advance, then 2 out of 8. Was it 1 out of 6 or something like that? Good advancement rate. Definitely a contest that, like, if you're in the mid-range, this is a better one, I think. It's pretty close to the Chow or whatever one, the $50 one they were doing. Question. You have pick 8. You're debating between Neighbors and Puka and CMC. Do you think it'd be worth risk to go Higgins in the 3rd? Do you think it would be worth, I think those are 2 different questions, going Higgins in the 3rd round. To answer the first one, well, I guess, okay, so you're saying in combination. No, I don't think Higgins is too much of a risk in round 3. Where do I have him? You said, you didn't say scoring format. We'll assume half PPR. Pretty sure I have Higgins. I mean, at 8, that'd be kind of like the mid-3rd round. I have T. Higgins at 302. So, no, that'd be a totally fine pick. I would maybe not want to do, like, Neighbors or Puka, another wide receiver, and Higgins, but that's just going to come down to kind of what you do. I watched the Friday video is going to go over Puka in detail. I'm kind of all in on Puka this season, but I love Neighbors. Obviously, I think CMC is live to finish as like the number 1 overall player. So they're all great picks. It's got to come down to your personal preference. If you're terrified of the injury, don't go with CMC. If you're terrified of the Stafford back injury, don't go with Puka. And if you're terrified of the toe injury, don't go with Neighbors. But I think that's the point, right? Is that everyone has some sort of risk. So you kind of have to just throw that away. I have that in half PPR. Puka, Neighbors, then CMC. Oh, having too high injury risk in the early rounds. No, I wouldn't worry about that. You're trying to win. You know that your guys can get hurt on occasion. You have your Dynasty draft, 9 p.m. tonight. Full PPR, 1 quarterback, 2 running back receiver, 1 flex spot contender. You're deciding on top 2 between Scadaboo, Jaden Tootin for my 204 pick. You'll get one of your top 2. Okay, so yeah, you're basically guaranteeing that you're gonna get one of them. I'll pull up the Dynasty rankings because that is a very close range. I wouldn't worry too much about like team need in Dynasty when we're kind of looking at that spot, unless you're like horrific at something. I have it right now as, yeah, Jaden Higgins, then Tootin, then Scattaboo for that one. We're going to get Saquon at 5. Dude, Saquon's cratering. Saquon, like, there's so many drafts I get him, like, 3, 4, 5 range, which to me is absurd. But we'll take him. If we don't get him, we would have taken, all right, there we go. Saquon Barkley at 5th overall. Would have broken the single season rushing record last season had they let him. Same situation, but we're going to let him go 5th overall. Don't get it. Tomorrow's video is going to go over Saquon in detail. Don't be worried about the injury with Saquon. If you look at the data of running backs who've gotten as many touches as Saquon has in a season, they are more likely to stay healthy in the following season than a baseline running back. They are way more likely to have a league-winning season the following year. I don't know what data people are throwing out there that are getting people thinking he's going to get hurt, but the data shows up when someone has that many touches in a season, they're very likely, historically, they stay healthy and have great seasons the following year. Rankings of the website have Higgins and Tootin above Scattaboo. Oh, yeah, okay. Guess I should have read that. Is that the order you would take them in given Tootin's hamstring injury? So he was already working off to the side, so I wouldn't worry, especially in Dynasty. Don't worry about any sort of really injuries in camp here. He was already working to the side. It seems like it's a very minor injury. Don't worry about the Tootin hammy. All right. What are we going to get at our next pick? We're going to be at 20. We already have Saquon. So obviously we take A.J. Brown. He's not going to be there. I never see A.J. Brown drop to 20. But we'd have A.J. Brown. We'd have Ladd. Or actually pretty clearly the top two, which is unfortunate. We're kind of first picking on this range. I usually in this situation do go with Tyreek Hill. I'm fine starting off with like a Saquon JT. I just don't tend to like the teams as much. Because again, this is a situation you kind of fall into a decent amount. So we almost capitalize on incredible value. Because had we gotten Saquon and one of A.J. Brown or Ladd, that's a very unique start. Saquon, Tyreek Hill isn't like that unique of a start, so we don't get sick value, which is unfortunate. But yeah, I lean Tyreek Hill just because I don't, sometimes when I start off with JT there's a situation where like I might get to, 305 here, and what if Jacobs or Chase Brown are there? Do I really want to start off with 3 running backs? Not really. What if McBride is there? Do I really want to start off 2 running backs and a tight end? It's like, I feel like if I'm foregoing in a 3 wide receiver best ball format, if I'm going to forego wide receiver for the first 3 rounds, and then I have a kind of like a mid to late 4th round pick, it's the first time I've been allowed to attack wide receiver. What if that's not a value? So you kind of dig yourself into too much of a hole. So I say go with Tyreek. I'm not worried about any sort of drop off in play. Obviously, I'm not expecting 1,700 yards and like 15 touchdowns, but it's Tyreek Hill, and we're in a format that favors spiked weeks. Great. We're in a format that is heavily favored towards what can you do, in like a late season performance. Tyreek Hill is just the type of player you want to have on your team. Like Tyreek Hill versus a baseline player. I want Tyreek Hill on my team in weeks 15, 16, 17 if I'm trying to get first place. So that's the way I go with. And again, I typically lean wide receiver at this next one as well, but Marv, Garrett, Hampton, all on the board. I've been going pretty heavy into Marvin Harrison Jr. this season, pretty large stand. So he would be my take. I would be fine if someone wanted to go Hampton. I think around this 30 spot is where we can start getting him. I've gotten a lot of Hampton at like 31, 32, 33, 34. So I don't really want to take him at 29. But yeah, Hampton's going to start going in this general range. All right, so that's the start. Again, Saquon, Tyreek, Marvin Harrison Jr. That's a start I've had a few times this season. I like starting off with these wide receivers, but obviously I'll forego that for the best running back in the NFL and the best offensive line in football. Okay. Curious why Rashee Rice seems so low in Dynasty rankings. You hear how incredible he was, the suspension, but you're not sure. I don't know if you're talking about like my Dynasty rankings in general Dynasty rankings. Looks like I have him 25. I mean, I guess I wouldn't say that's like super high. He's definitely older than you think. I don't know the age. I'm going to look that up. Rashee Rice is 25 already. So, going into year 3, typically 25. A little bit of an older prospect. But I don't know. I mean, that doesn't feel egregious. You've got some wide receivers who are like 21, 22 that are ahead of him. That's going to have value in Dynasty. Obviously, he's got a relatively small sample size. So, yeah, great this season. But in Dynasty, it's sometimes nice seeing the larger sample size. And again, 25, I don't think that's like a crazy low ranking there. Because, again, he's probably going to miss like 4 or 5 games this season. But I don't know. I mean, if you like the value, definitely go for him to start up. But I think that's like pretty fair in that like 20 to 25 range. All right, we're at 44. I've seen this happen a ton too. Mike Evans is like cratering in drafts, I think, because people adjusted their rankings and they moved up Egbuka, and so they're moving down Mike Evans. But Evans is another player that has that insane weekly ceiling. He's been wide receiver 3 in this build. So I've been hammering Mike Evans in the late 4th round. It feels like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just like old and I just like going for like established players, but like Saquon Barkley, Tyreek Hill, Mike Evans, like we know what to expect from these players. Mike Evans, he's probably not going to have a monster season, but as your 3rd wide receiver, he's going to have 100-yard games. He's going to have huge performances. And if I'm walking into week 17 with Saquon, Tyreek Hill, and Mike Evans, and they're all active and playing, I'm feeling pretty darn good about that. So you want to be targeting these very high ceiling players, especially ones that we know are incredible. Okay, 53, we're not going to go tight end. We're not going to go quarterback. I'm good with Metcalf. I'm good with Devonta Smith. Obviously, Devonta Smith has the stack with Saquon here, but we can't get Hurts, so it'd be fine to still do that stack. Waddle would be good. That's probably a better stack to have with Tyreek Hill because we can actually finish off the stack. At running back, it's just too early for some of these guys, so I don't really want to go there. So I think we're just continuing to attack the wide receiver position. Again, I think that's like the best strategy of the season. DK Metcalf. I don't think you would want the Waddle stack enough to overlook Metcalf. He'll be in the must-draft video on Friday. Again, established wide receiver, high weekly upside because of not only the big play upside downfield, but touchdown upside. 7 red zone targets. Again, I'm going to talk about him in the Friday video. 7 red zone targets for DK Metcalf all of last season. 0 red zone touchdowns. And you look at who they have. It's Calvin Austin. It's Roman Wilson. They're both under 187 pounds. It's like they don't weigh anything. They're tiny receivers. That's not someone that Aaron Rodgers is going to hyper-focus on in the red zone. He's going to chuck the ball to Metcalf a million times when they get in close. So, I don't know. People are off Metcalf this season. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I'd go after him heavily. Who do you go with 5th overall pick? Well, Saquon in this one. In redraft, do I risk Rice over Worthy? I have them pretty close to each other. Right now in the rankings, I have Worthy a little bit ahead of Rice. I would be fine if you want to risk it. And it's another situation where it's like, do you think you just have an edge? If you think you're better than the people you're playing against, I mean, you might as well. Or if you have a deep bench spot too, like if you think you're going to like crush the middle rounds, late rounds, you got like 7 bench spots and you can afford to just throw Rice on the bench, hope that it's only like a 4-game suspension. And then, you come back just firing with 2nd round value and you got him a little bit earlier. Sure. Also, if you don't really believe in Worthy, you don't think the breakout's going to be there. It's like, well, Rice is going to be more valuable than Worthy, when they're both playing. Obviously, you're fading like an 8-game suspension, but I think 5 to 6 feels like the highest end there. So again, I'd be fine with it. I'm playing around with moving Rice up a little higher. He's fallen, but he's only fallen to this like 38 spot, and he's not really pushing into the 40s. I thought that he'd fall closer to like the late 40s, and he's not. So maybe I do move him up a little bit, but we'll see. All right. We have the hero build. Again, not going to go tight end at this spot. Top wide receiver is clearly Judy, but running back probably helps us out a little bit more here. So the smart play is probably to go with Monty. And then quarterback, if I had a Bengal, I would go with Burrow. I don't think he won't make it back to me, but I think the thing with Burrow is like I have enough builds where I've taken T, I've taken Chase, and he ends up falling to that like 70 to 73 range that I don't necessarily need to take a naked Joe Burrow at 68. I wish I had one of Chase, Higgins, Other Chase, you could go with Gesicki later. You can go to Yoshi, but the reason that Burrow would excel at this spot is if those studs are going off and you don't have them. So I typically lean away from it because you don't want to get too much exposure to them without those guys. Okay, the next pick, again, not a range for quarterback that we want to be in. Running back, I would take Mixon at this spot. So if he falls to this late, I would take him. Again, I have him ranked 77th. I don't think I'd go with another running back here. I would definitely take Laporta. We have the Monty stack, and I might take Laporta earlier. I wouldn't go with Hawkinson, though. And then wide receivers, I would take Godwin because we can look for a buck stack. I think I would prefer Laporta in this build. I would take Pearsall. I would take Myers if he was still there. Okay. That's actually a tough one because they don't get a lot of Laporta, so it's an opportunity to grab them and to have the stack with Monty. But I also really like this stack potential. I like this stack a little bit more. What's our pick for because Baker goes around like mid 90s or so. We're going to be at 92 and 101. We have the opportunity to we won't get Egbuka. I don't think he'll fall to 92. He'll go one of the next couple picks. But we can do like an Evans, Godwin, Baker stack. And maybe we can forego, because this guy's got Burrow, this guy's got Lamar. So we're only feeding 2 teams. Do any of them he has Bucky. So the Bucky team has Burrow. I don't think the Bucky team would go Baker at 99, but maybe they would. I don't know. We'll consider that. But we have an opportunity here for a nice stack. Would you rather have Brian Thomas Jr. and Pickens or Tet, or Marv and Ladd in full PPR? Probably Ladd and Marv, because Ladd's really close to Brian Thomas Jr. in full PPR. Not right next to him, but he's close enough that Marv is a step above both Pickens and Tet. So I think I'd rather the other one. What are your projections at right now for Jacksonville running backs? Behind market on ETN, above market on Tootin and Tank. Basically just taking a stand on ETN not being the lead guy, Tootin having the potential for the breakout, and then Bigsby right now being the lead, but I wouldn't draft him first because he doesn't have receptions. Okay, at 93. Maybe you would just take Baker at this spot. It's probably the smart move. Because also, this is a $40 draft. Like, this isn't like a $2, $3, $4, $5 one. I do want to build a strong team here. I think getting the correlation between Baker, Evans, Godwin, especially late season, if we can get, Godwin back to full health, I definitely want to be stacking. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to end up doing. Yeah, there's no one else I'd want there. I want to be stacking that up, though. So let's pull up the playoff matchups for Tampa Bay. That's going to be a big one for us. So Tampa Bay faces the Falcons, the Panthers, and Miami. So we have the Tyreek Hill stack already with Bucks here. So we're already kind of good on stacking that game. But definitely if we want to keep stacking Miami players, if we want to go after Waller in the final round, if we want to go after Tua, all right, nice. We keep in the back of our minds Falcons as well and Panthers. All right, with this pick at 101, it's not a range I like tight end. So I probably wouldn't. Cup would be fine. Shaheed would be fine. Jalen Warren's fine. I don't think if I had to like a stack here, I would go with Fields. I don't think I would take any of the quarterbacks here. Okay. I mean, I think Cup's probably the play. Yeah, okay. Now he's definitely the play after Warren. I was going to say Warren was definitely a consideration, but I want to fill out my wide receivers. Like, I want to have most of my wide receivers done at this general spot of the draft because I think Shaheed's a good pick. I think Keon has weekly upside. I think, Trey has some upside. You start to get into a cliff here, and that's why the ADP is crater, because it's like all these guys are like fairly mediocre, fairly low season-long ceiling. I don't really want to be attacking most of this range. So now that I have my 6 receivers, I'm good for a while. Next picks I can kind of go after maybe an upside running back. Maybe there's a quarterback that's in a good spot. Maybe we start attacking the tight ends. So I want to be doing that in that range, and that's why I like to fill out wide receiver in these middle rounds. And it's why, again, I don't like overloading running back too much, because if I didn't get these wide receivers in, I'm not going to feel great about targeting this next range. Wide receiver is not really a position you can draft like 10 or 11 of this season and like backload that and push them, because like, yes, you're going to get random spike weeks, but the season-long upside and even the weekly upside of some of these later picks are just not that good, and definitely don't come close to some of these earlier picks. Drafting from the second, the 102, I'm assuming, and you traded up to the 12th pick too. Keeper is going to be either Achane, Neighbors, Josh Allen in the third, with Neighbors' injury. Did we see like a new injury from Neighbors that like came out in the last hour? Can someone tell me if that occurred? Because if we're just talking about the like toe, I haven't seen anything else, but I'll do a quick search on something. Oh, we're almost up. But someone let me know. Is there something else for Neighbors? All right, we have 17 seconds. We're 1:15. Charbonnet probably makes the most sense for our build. Not going to do another running back. Don't want a quarterback there. Don't want a wide receiver. Warren would also be fine. We'll take Charbonnet just to get that third running back. It's a great system for running backs. If Ken Walker got hurt, he'd obviously be a stud. But Warren would have also been a very good pick at that spot. No one has said anything about that. All right, I'll look it up. Let's see. Oh, okay, so he landed and then walked off the field. I don't see anything that says anything bad. I'm sure he's fine. I don't see anything like reputable that says there's a problem here. All right, so maybe we can get Warren at the next pick. I highly doubt it. I don't think this guy's going to let it go. I mean, that's a bad move if he does. Maybe we take Njoku, though, when he takes Warren. Kirk, Lawrence. No, those don't make any sense for us. Yeah, we can go with Njoku. I don't trust the quarterback play here. We'll take the touchdown upside of Njoku. Again, quarterback play is going to be bad, but they're going to have to throw it a ton. They like the backup, Harold Fannin, but it's still the rookie tight end is going to take some time to develop. Njoku's still a stud, so I'd go there. Alrighty. So we have a lot of, I'll pull this up for you all. Okay. Myers underrated this year? Every year. That's not a new thing this year. No one ever likes Jacoby Myers. He's not a fun pick to make, but he's the correct pick a lot of the time in that range. League rules question. How long should a player be on waivers after they are dropped? I don't know. I prefer just the one day. Like if they're dropped, they're on waivers for a day. So if they're dropped at midnight, the next day they're on waivers, and then one day after that. I don't like when people have everyone on waivers. So like I have one league where people don't pay attention. And so they're like, oh, we're going to have waivers every single day. You always have to put in a claim. You're not allowed to add players. There's no possibility of ever adding someone. It has to always be a claim. I hate that. I think everyone should be addable until they're dropped and then one day on waivers. If it takes you a day to pay attention, like you don't deserve the player, in my opinion. Okay, 140. We would definitely take Christian Kirk at this spot. That's a good enough value. I have seen him falling a little bit, but that's a good enough value. I wouldn't hate Quentin as well. And there goes Christian Kirk. I don't like these running backs. I don't like the value of these running backs. I don't want to go running back at this pick. I like Ferguson. I'm not in on Kincaid this season. Likely has the injury. All right. I think Ferguson's the play. And then we have a conversation to do about, because we're pretty good at tight end there. We have a conversation about quarterback. We're going to be at 149. Tua makes sense, again, to stack with Tyreek Hill. Different bye week. It's in that week 17 game. That all makes sense. Other than that, like, we don't have a ton of options. I think Bryce Young makes sense because we can backload it. We've got Jadeveon Sanders late. We've got Jalen Coker. We've got Adam Thielen. Like, we have options later on for stacking with Bryce Young. We don't have I would always take Stafford with a Rams player. I did take him yesterday, actually, at like 185. If someone's going to be 30 picks of value, you don't need the stack. Like, just take the quarterback. Even if it's your third quarterback, if someone's that much of a value, just take them. But yeah, I think Tua, this guy doesn't have Waddle, right? Yeah, this guy's not going to take and make it Tua. That wouldn't make any sense. All right, I think Tua makes the most sense. We have that stack. We want that Week 17 game. Can we advance to Week 17, and can we get Tampa Bay and Miami just dropping a nuke? Like, just back and forth. Tyreek hits for a long touchdown. Evans returns the favor, and we're just aerial attack back and forth. When you both these teams in the playoffs in Week 17 are like in contention for something, and then I think we've got some decent upside with this build. I like this build so far, and we're kind of set. Like, we don't have to take another quarterback or tight end. So if we want to start overloading running back, if we want to start taking some upside shots on wide receiver, we actually could do that. So I'm a little bit excited about this build. Favorite Packers pass catcher? I mean, probably Golden. Obviously, Jacobs, but like, we're talking about not Jacobs. I think Golden would be my favorite. He's probably the most talented already. Big play potential. He'll play on the outside. Jaden Reed scares me. They're like, oh yeah, he can play a little bit more from the slot, or not from the slot this season. It's like, oh yeah, adding a first-round wide receiver is going to make it more likely that you start Reed on the outside at times. Like, if they wanted to play Jaden Reed in two wide receiver sets, they would have. They don't want to, so they're not going to. So that concerns me with him. Wicks can't catch anything. Watson coming back from injury. Like, Dobbs is just always fine, but he's just never someone that's going to have a monster season. So I think Golden is the most exciting. People really like Tucker Kraft. I think there's just so much target competition that there's only so much he can really do. But if you want to target him in like the later rounds as an upside tight end, like a 2 tight end build, I have absolutely no problem doing that. But and he's probably my second favorite. I'd probably say Golden, then Kraft, then no one really. I don't really want any of the other ones. Again, not counting Jacobs, obviously. Okay, 164. We said we should probably start attacking tight end, so we'll probably... Oh, wait, no. We already did that. But I would be fine with Hunter Henry here as a third tight end. None of these running back, such a bad value. Okay, I don't mind Besh, but there's probably smarter plays for us. So I think I'd go Hunter Henry. I'm totally fine going with a 3 tight end build when our first one is not one of the elite guys. So Njoku, Ferguson, Henry, we're going to randomly have, better matchups, randomly have touchdowns thrown in here. 3 tight ends is a very strong strategy when you're looking at like pick 125 and later. But no more tight ends. And maybe we get Besh in the next round. Again, he falls a ton. I don't think he should be falling. On some of the more high dollar drafts I've done, people are just scared to draft him because he hasn't gotten the hype because of Thornton. He's still a very talented player. Not going to break out in like week 1, but I think he's going to play his way onto the field. I don't really believe in Trey Tucker, so I think he can be out there in 2 wide receiver sets if he can get going. Again, not to start the season, but I don't know. I don't think a wide receiver, as talented as he is, taken as early as he is, should be going in this part of the draft. So I like the value in him. I would take Wandale. I don't know that I would take anyone else at wide receiver. So I would take Wandale and no one else. Eckler, did he get hurt or something? No. He had an off day. That's what it was. He wasn't out there because of an off day. People are not wanting to draft him because of the rookie that's been doing stuff. So it's a good time to invest in Eckler, kind of a suppressed ADP. And it probably makes the most sense for us. We only have Barkley, Monty, and Charbonnet. Eckler's a better pick. It's like the Krosky. I always forget his name. Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt is getting a lot of hype in camp. We'll see. I mean, he is, a 7th round rookie running back. Like, he's getting some hype, but who really knows? I feel like this is an opportunity. Like I never drafted. I don't think I had any Austin Eckler before this like breakout news of Ja'Cory over here. But now that people are scared, now Eckler's all of a sudden going in the 170s. Now is time. Like what you use camp hype to draft the people who are not getting hyped at times. So we'll get some Eckler on the team. I feel like, so we're going to be at 188. We're going to have 3 picks left. How do we want to play this? I don't think I want another quarterback. I would maybe do, oh man, he's climbing. I was going to say I'd maybe do Anthony Richardson if he falls. But at this point, I'm not going to do another quarterback. I would consider Roshan. I don't think he's any good, but Roshan this late, it's going to be a good offense. Maybe he can have some like goal line touchdowns. Yeah, I would consider him. I'd consider Diami. You know the guys I like. Diami, Slayton, Jaden Reed. Kind of a cliff into everyone else. I feel like we should take Roshan. All right. Take Roshan. So now we have Saquon, Monty, Charbonnet, Eckler, and Roshan. We're going to have 2 picks left. I definitely want another wide receiver. Running backs I'm good with. Rico, Marshawn Lloyd. It seems like a minor injury, but I also have like 38, 40% Marshawn Lloyd, so I should probably cool it. But I can promise you, Lloyd's going to start going at like the end of the 18th round now, so I'm probably still going to start drafting a bunch of them. I'll probably end up dropping Lloyd behind Giddens. So we'll probably have it played out like that. I think I want to do a 6th running back and then a 7th receiver. I don't think we have to go with 8 wide receivers in this build. So we'll probably take one of these guys at this pick and then, I don't know, just some scrub receiver at our last one. Maybe, well, could we go 2-7? I don't think we can go 2-7. He's going to take a running back. He'll probably take Rico. Oh, he didn't. He took, oh, Taj. That's weird. All right. We'll take Rico. Would I consider Giddens or Lloyd at the next pick? Do we trust these receivers? Tyreek Hill, Marv, Evans, Metcalf, Godwin, Kupp. It's thin. It's not great. And I think if Lloyd was there, I'd consider it. If Lloyd is not there, I'm not taking any of these running backs. So Lloyd or... do we have anyone on like the Bucks or Dolphins? I really don't think we need to put this as part of a stack. Let's just take best player. I think that's probably Tyler Lockett. Just always plays himself onto the field. If not Lockett, I don't know. I guess Royals has some upside. There's just so many receivers in KC. They're going to rotate all of them that, I don't know. I don't really think Royals has like a ton of, chance to really break out. And again, I hate this range for wide receiver. You think Coker's having a good camp. Maybe Coker can do something. I just don't think Malik Washington makes a ton of sense for us. I guess it's possible, but like I don't see Malik Washington doing anything. I think it's just going to all be Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Yeah, I think we hope that it's maybe one of these 3. And we'll see what happens if not. Are you crazy for wanting Kittle in the late 3rd of a 12-team league? No, I don't think that's crazy. Half PPR, 12-team leagues, I have him at 403. If you want to take him in the late 3rd, I think that's fine. But the hope would be if there's a top-tier player there, you would risk it, and you'd go that top-tier player and then Kittle in the next round. You like May and McCarthy, but if you were to guess one dark horse quarterback to finish top 5 to 10, who do you think can make the leap? All right. We have the pick in a second, so I'll make the pick and then I'll give some dark horses there. It looks like we're going to get one of these 3. So at least we have that going for us. I feel like I'm going to take Marshawn Lloyd if he's available at this pick because I did wait a long time and I don't trust these running backs. So just kind of give me that 7th running back that can do something. Hope that these 6 wide receivers, it's not great doing the 6 receiver build, but I think we invested enough draft capital in these guys. I think there's an argument to be made for Lockett, but I also don't know how much I trust Tyler Lockett. So we're just going to pentuple down. We're going to 50% Marshawn Lloyd. At this point, if I am going to get him in the late 200s or the early 200s, I guess, the late 18th round, I'm going to take Marshawn Lloyd in the late 18th round every time. So if you give him to me, I'm going to take it. He's probably not going to play this season, let's be honest, but I have to do it. I think he's talented enough. Just, dude, stretch. Like, I don't understand how a human can get hurt this much. Anyways, that's the team. Should we do another? We'll do another draft for sure. But should we do another Husky? Let's do it. One more Husky. Again, I like the advancement structure. I want to max this one out. $40 buy-in, 22nd on the clock. Let's not get a 5 pick. Let's do something different. Obviously, if we get the 5 pick, I'm going to take Saquon at pick 5 every time. So keep giving them to me. But, oh yeah, the dark horses. So these are all the quarterbacks that I'll list off that I think have a chance to be a top, let's say 5 to 8 quarterback. Who has an actual chance of being that this season? Obviously, the top end guys. So everyone on Scroll Pass right now, yes, obviously has that chance. If we're talking about dark horse, let's start at the May McCarthy range. I think May McCarthy, Lawrence. I think all of them have a legitimate chance to finish in that range. I think Justin Herbert as well. Justin Herbert is immensely talented. He's got a great coaching staff. The ground game is going to help him out this season. If he just gets like lucky with touchdowns and they start actually hitting with Quentin, who's their guy? I want to start taking him a little bit later in drafts as well as part of a Herbert stack. Oh my gosh. The name. I'm just going to do LAC wide receiver and we're going to get it. Keandre Lambert-Smith. I want to start taking him in round 18 as part of Herbert stacks. I definitely don't have him like ranked super high, but the kid's impressive. I don't know. He's good. I don't think Goff really has that upside this season. I don't buy it from Love, given the lack of mobility. I don't buy it from Stroud, given the lack of mobility and the lack of a good offensive line. I don't buy it from Bryce Young, given that I still don't buy into him as a player. I think theoretically Penix, if the defense just completely falls apart and you can get Mooney to full health and maybe Kyle Pitts can do something, then you have some upside there. Because like Bijan can rip off some long, screen passes. Obviously, London's a stud. I think it's thin, but I think Penix has a chance. If Geno got super lucky, maybe. And then AR. I have to throw AR out there. I will say, the camp reports are good. And that is why his ADP is starting to climb back up, and probably why I need to move him a little bit higher. The camp reports are that he is developing. He's doing a little bit better. It seems like Warren, like I talked about how Warren is like the keystone for this team. It seems like he's focusing on Warren, and that's helping a lot. Because, like, remember, AR stunk because he was super inaccurate, but he was chucking the ball 100 miles an hour at these guys that were 2 yards downfield. And it's like, that's not going to work, right? So he wants to chuck it every play. And I think maybe Warren can just give him that midfield outlet to where, like, he understands, I don't have to do that every play. Like, I don't have to chuck it 100 miles an hour to downs. I can take that when it's there. I can take my shots downfield, but I can also kind of hit Warren middle of the field. I'm hoping that is just going to happen. That's going to be what he's thinking this season. And any time that Anthony Richardson is a starting quarterback of an NFL team, he'll be a top 10 quarterback. It's just going to happen in fantasy. Like, the mobility is enough to where that's the case. So if he develops, he has that upside. No one else does in this range. So again, the dark horses here are May, McCarthy, Lawrence, Penix, and AR. I don't think anyone else really has an actual chance to do anything there. Thoughts on Woody Marks with Mixon and Pierce out for a while? Yeah, I like Woody Marks. I don't think Pierce out for a while. Like, I don't think Pierce is going to do anything this season. There's a chance he doesn't even make the team, I feel like, or gets traded away. Also, what pick did we get? 11. Okay, it's a good pick. I like Woody Marks. I don't think my model loves him. I actually want to see what the comp was for Marks. Curious. I like him. Good pass catcher. Chubb, I don't think has it. Chubb's probably pretty cooked. And so he has the inside track to this job. Or at least to a role on this team. Model likes him basically where he was drafted. Nothing more, nothing less. The comps are not good. Okay. Alexander Madison, which, Alexander Madison had his couple minutes, but, you don't want to see Alexander Madison as a comp. I think he has upside. It's just the problem is Mixon, when healthy, is the stud. So he gets that role there. Worst offensive line in the NFL as a rookie. And it's not like he'd ever be featured. Like, they'd still use other backs. So I like him as a late round pick, certainly. Do I think he has running back one upside? No, of course not. Okay. Puka or Neighbors would be a dream at 11. It's not going to happen. It never does. we're basically forced to pick between Genty, Amon-Ra, and Brian Thomas. Why I think I should move Amon-Ra. Whoa, Achan. Oh, wow. Okay. What I was going to say was I should move Amon-Ra over Genty because I don't like going Genty at 11 because then people go Amon-Ra and then Brian Thomas Jr. We're just going to let auto draft neighbors here. People go the 2 wide receiver, and then you get stuck with Genty and Henry, which is fine, but I don't love a double running back start. So I like to take the receiver, force them to make that call, either give me the 2 wide receiver or just give me the best of or one of Genty or Henry. And they do it. I wanted one of Amon-Ra or Brian there, but is what it is. We will go with Ashton Genty, absolute stud, workhorse running back, goal line touches, receptions. There's just nothing to be said. He's going to be amazing in the season. Neighbors and Genty. Okay. I like the start. Anytime I can get Neighbors at 11, I'm good with that. Buying Tyquan Thornton hype? Absolutely not. No way in the world I'm ever going to draft Tyquan Thornton. I'm a Patriots fan. I've seen it firsthand. He's not good. He is a player that, sure, can flash in some preseason games. Ain't no way he's going to be consistent. Could he be in that like MVS role at times where it's like, he randomly gets 3 targets downfield and every 4th week he hits for a big play? Sure. Never touch Tyquan Thornton in a redraft league. And if you want to take him in 18 underdog, understand that most of the time you're getting a 0. You have a slight chance that maybe he's used at some point in the season. But no, I'm not buying the hype for Tyquan Thornton. 10-team Superflex. You have pick 5 looking at Daniels in the first. Who should you target in the second? I don't know. Whoever's there. Like, I mean, I'll pull up the Superflex rankings, but you kind of have to. I don't know who's going to be there in the middle of the second round in your particular draft. I would not go quarterback at that pick. Don't go quarterback in Superflex. Yeah, Daniels is my 5th player, so I'm good going that. I mean, ideally, you're getting one of like Neighbors, Puka, Amon-Ra, Nico, Brian, one of the great wide receivers. If one of like Saquon, Gibbs, or McCaffrey is there, certainly. But that would be the hope, is you're getting one of Gibbs, Saquon, Neighbors, Puka, Amon-Ra, McCaffrey, Nico, Brian, and it's really just who you prefer. They're all amazing, all going to have awesome seasons. Who do you want in that range? My lean is a wide receiver. If it's full PPR, if it's half, we can lean towards the running back there. 12-team PPR Superflex, 3 wide receiver, auction league, and then there's nothing after that. Okay, quarterbacks, we're going to process, man. We need shorter responses on some of these. Quarterbacks historically have gone lower than expected. So for cheaper, basically. Given this, would it be optimal to keep pace? Yes. It's optimal to save money. Don't overspend to get someone. If you know quarterbacks are going to be free, that means someone's going to be a sick value. Wait for the quarterback that's a sick value and spend. You can still, like, if you want to target a top 12, do it. I would target a top 4. Again, we still want to be in our range of like, I don't want that mid-range of quarterback. So if they're cheaper and you want to go for a less expensive top end, top 4, and then go like 2 of the cheap guys, go for it. But I wouldn't like overspend on anyone. But yeah, if you want to target one of the top guys, top 4. Quarterback or tight end deeper this year? I mean, deeper is tight end theoretically because there's a bunch of guys who are mediocre. But in terms of like who has more deeper at the position to have a chance to actually be like league winners, quarterback. All right, 35. We have Genty. We have Neighbors. We're going to take JSN at this pick. JSN, I've been getting him a lot recently. I feel like he was going a lot earlier and I wasn't getting him as much. I can't really move him down that much more because they don't have that third receiver. I like Arroyo, but he's a rookie. They're going to throw to, their running backs plenty. But, like, think about the upside here if Puka gets injured. It's unreal. And I do believe in the coaching staff. I think Kubiak's a good coach. Like, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of upside. This guy should go Daniels, McLaurin. You got to do Daniels, McLaurin there. Should have done that. Okay. I'll go with McLaurin. I could use this as an opportunity to get some Kyron. Do I want to do it? No. I don't want to do it. I already have Genty. I didn't really want to go with the second week 8 bye for running back. McLaurin's going to sign. There would be a riot in the streets of DC if Terry McLaurin does not get a contract extension. It is going to happen. So enjoy the discount. I am someone who doesn't love Terry McLaurin, especially in a redraft league, because of the touchdowns are going to be obviously like lower than they were last season. He's impending regression. I think he turns 30 this year, but don't quote me on that. But that's when no one was scared of the contract situation. He was going in this range, right? Well, of course I'm not taking McLaurin when I can draft Marv, T, Hampton, Adams, the quarterbacks, Hall, JSN. But we're starting to get in the range with McLaurin where it's like, okay, but he's still going to be the number one. He still has big play upside. He's still on a high-end offense. And as my wide receiver 3, I'm good with that in best ball. Again, probably not someone to go after in a redraft league, but in best ball, he's going to have those spiked weeks. He's a big play guy. I'd still draft him, especially at this spot. Any concern that Amon on knee situation? I don't think so. We haven't heard a ton about it, but I don't think I'm too concerned about that. You've got the 101 in redraft, full PPR, 2 running back, 3 receiver, 1 flex. Okay. So full PPR, 3 wide receiver league. You're going to go Jamar. Yep. Then who should you target the 2-3 turn? Again, it depends who's there. I'll pull up the 3 wide receiver full PPR rankings, which, shout out to Underdog, you can get all my rankings, draft, and in season for free. You sign up for Underdog, use promo code FFA, join a draft. That's it. I'll email the rankings the next morning, or access to them. 2-3 turn, I mean, if you can get one of AJ Brown, Ladd, Tyreek, T, Marv, Garrett, JSN, Adams. If you can get 2 of those guys, I'd start off 3 receivers. You could do that. I probably wouldn't go into the range of like Bucky, Chase Brown, Hall. Like the wide receivers are more important there. I'm still fine with Derrick Henry, but I feel like he'll go earlier. Bowers, McBride would also be fine to do in that spot because it's full PPR. But I would honestly plan on full PPR 3 wide receiver league, starting off 3 wide receivers in a row. Lamar in round 4, Fields in 14. I'll go back to like regular half PPR for that one. See where we're going to be at here. We're going to be at 59 and 62. All right. I have Lamar at like a mid-3rd round value and 9th round value for Fields. Probably Lamar in the 4th. Would be a little bit better value. You're just locking up a round of value in the early rounds. Okay. 100% of Dunze or Harvey. In my mind, there's a drop-off in certainty after that. Okay, interesting. I think I want to go Harvey. Hope this guy doesn't draft a Dunze and maybe wants to go like Kamara and I don't know. I want to force his hand. Because I know he's going to take a running back. So I know I'm not going to get Harvey at the next pick. So I want to go Harvey here and cross my fingers he doesn't want a Dunze. He should draft a Dunze because I would still go wide receiver if I was him. But cross our fingers. We want a Dunze here. If he takes a Dunze, that was the correct play on his end. We'll take Olave, who I feel like people are going to start backing off based on recent news that like Shaheed's been playing really well. But with the unknown around Jawan, definite drop-off into Judy, not having a Bengals player for Burrow, I do think Odunze was kind of the last of that like top-end talent there. So I like this start a lot. I like the other team that we did, but this start also I'm definitely intrigued by. We get Genty Harvey, 2 running backs I know are going to be very involved this season, going to have great upside, especially in the second half of the year when it matters most in this. JSN, Neighbors, McLaurin, Olave. Okay, I like this start. I like the start that we have here. I think we got a super chat. Just a super chat. Nothing else. Lovely. You'll love to see it. Hit the like button. I don't know what. If you have a question, Joey, I'll answer it. But we'll take it. Yeah, hit the like button, everyone. There are a lot of questions in this chat. My goodness. Thank you all for coming for the questions. Should you be looking for Jacobs, Hill, or Bowers if he's there? Oh, that was answering someone else. Okay. Start a Dynasty draft. Chase, London, Nico, Egbuka, quarterbacks, Purdy, Lawrence, Penix. What do you think? I love it. What's your favorite win total? Someone asked me that the other day, and I looked them up, but I don't remember what my answer was. Hold on. Let me try and search in the chat. I don't remember what chat we were in. Let's see. Jacksonville over 7.5 wins. Minnesota over 8.5 wins. Those are the two I liked when I looked it up the other day. I'll probably make a page for some of those more season-long props. So like that, plus like, hires and lowers for like player projection and stuff like that. Maybe I'll do that this week. Early season defense rankings. You draft this Friday. I already, I made the rankings. Yeah, I haven't looked early season yet, really. I don't know. Let's look at the week 1 schedule. All right. I'll pull this up in a second. We'll make our pick, and then let's look at the week 1 schedule, shall we? 83-86. Yeah, like I take Mixon here. This is the range I would take Joe Mixon. So if Joe Mixon's available at my pick, I'm taking him. There goes Joe Mixon. Okay. I mean, I would probably just keep hammering receiver Godwin, Shakir at 83. Would I take Aaron Jones? Ugh. God, this guy's going to take Godwin. I barely have any Chris Godwin, by the way, so I'm also using this to kind of load up on a suppressed ADP from him. As your 5th receiver, you don't need Chris Godwin to like play early in the season. That's unfortunate. You don't need him to play early in the season. All right, let's go downs. I really don't want Aaron Jones here. I feel like Hawkinson we could do. We can't do Mahomes because we don't have a... Well, we could stack him late, but we could stack him, honestly, with Kelsey, I guess. I just don't really like this range for quarterback. Oh, we could do... Oh, man. Do we do the Indy stack? I think we do. Again, he has a groin injury. He might start falling in drafts. I don't know about the status of the injury. But let's do this. We have now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 receivers. Again, I like having 6 receivers through this range. We won't take another receiver for a while. And we'll target Warren, but we'll target AR later in this draft. Oh yeah, early season schedule. Only pull this up for a second for those of you who want to watch the draft. All right. Let's see. Well, the Bengals have the Browns, so that's nice. Cardinals get the Saints. I mean, Denver. Denver's like the best defense in the league, and they're home against the Titans. That's going to be the #1 defense of week 1. Nothing else. I don't think anything else. You could argue Jacksonville, but I don't think Jacksonville has like an insane defense this season. Yeah, I would probably, I mean, obviously, again, Denver is locked and loaded as the #1. Yeah, I don't really see a ton that are like that amazing. So Cardinals, Denver, and what I said the other one was? Oh, Bengals. But Bengals have a terrible defense too. So Cardinals and Broncos are what you're really hoping for. I don't have any season-long ones right now. I don't mind JMO at 825.5. I don't know that would make my list, but we'll see. Who are a couple guys that are underrated chance of finishing #1 at their position? All right. We already kind of did quarterback. And realistically, tight end, there's like 5 that even have a chance, and they're not underrated. We'll do that. I mean, we're kind of... For you to expect anyone in this range of the draft to finish number 1, that's bold. So we'll go a little bit earlier that can actually finish number 1. Let's just list off some wide receivers. I could theoretically do it. Obviously, everyone in round 1. I think London could. I think Tyreek Hill could. T. Higgins could. Adams could. JSN. Rasheed on a per game basis. Stretch, but Adunze, but probably not. If we're talking about later guys, maybe talking about a wide receiver 1. I can answer that separately after we make these picks. That probably makes a little bit more sense as a pick. Okay. We probably take Warren at 110. At this one, we probably don't need a wide receiver. I feel like we go Tracy because we don't have a Jets player, right? Yeah. We could go with the naked Fields, but I don't know that I want to do that. All right, let's do Tracy Warren. I think that benefits us the best. Can't imagine this person's going to take Warren at 109. 8-pick reach, uncorrelated. It'd be weird, but if he did it, then maybe we do take Fields. Because I don't want Etienne. Again, I have a pretty big stand behind him right now. I don't think I've drafted Etienne a single draft this season. All right. Yeah, let's take Warren. Good build so far. I like this. All right. Sleepers, running back. Who could be a running back 1? In this range, Charbonnet if there's an injury. Stevenson if there's an injury. Tune if he breaks out or an injury. Najee through injury. Benson through injury. Urenda through injury. Jaden Blue if he wins the job. Roshan if he's super lucky. And that's it. No one else. Wide receiver in this range who could theoretically be a 1. Ugh. No. No one. Not a single player. No, none of these guys are going to be a wide receiver 1 fantasy. It's just not going to happen. So that's why, again, I like builds that kind of attack wide receiver because I just don't see it late this season. I see a lot of really strong wide receivers earlier on. Who could be a 1 earlier on? Igbuka, Pearsall, Cup, theoretically. Trey Harris. Probably stops there. Are your quarterback rankings the same in 6-point passing touchdown? Who's your top 5 for that? Well, I mean, overall, no, it won't be because they're projection based and it'll have the 6. But in the top 5, it's probably close. Top 5 right now in 6-point passing touchdown. Lamar, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, because he's going to throw a million touchdowns, Jaden Daniels, Hurts, Cliff, and everyone else. Oh, I didn't see the running back 1 or the team 1 running back room. Metcalf or Ridley? Metcalf. You don't understand Shakir going this late. He's very reliable last season. I think it's just because he's kind of that player that always racks up like 5 for 60. And it's like you don't know what to do with that, especially in best ball, because you're like, okay, you're consistently providing me what I hope to get in like the flex spot in a lot of weeks, but he's never really doing anything to like actually win it for you. And when you look this season, like Palmer, last season Keon wasn't doing anything. When they got Cooper, he was absolute trash. The thought is that Keon advances in year 2 or develops in year 2, that Joshua Palmer is better than Amari Cooper was late down year, and he kind of loses some target share, and you're like, okay, I think he outperforms his ADP, but I don't necessarily think he has the upside to like actually be someone you're relying on. There's no way in a 12-team league you're like winning a championship with him at year 2. So it's going to be someone who's like in 3 wide receiver leagues, 2 flex leagues that you look at a little bit more. Okay, 131, 134. Don't have a quarterback yet. Do we have any Jaguars? No. Again, we're definitely going after AR. We have to be careful because someone will reach on him. I mean, I'm fine taking a naked McCarthy. I'm fine taking Trevor Lawrence here. We don't have Houston. Yeah, we're not in a good spot for some of these stacks. I feel like we go Lawrence and we get Diami is probably our top move here. I didn't actually look at the other positions, but yeah. Trevor Lawrence, get someone who I trust because we're going to go with AR late, and obviously I don't trust him. Beyond that, I don't think we go quarterback. I don't really want this range of running back. I'm good with Kyle Williams. I think he can have a really strong season and some good like weekly upside because he can get downfield. Oh, and we can get Brenton Strange. Okay. So I think the play is go Kyle. Pull this up so we can see our picks. Go with Kyle Williams here. Probably next round at 155, go with Strange. And then take AR at like 170 or something like that. So we go Strange, maybe running back at 158, and then AR at 179. You'll gladly take a falling Mixon in a heartbeat. The problem with him is we don't know yet. Like, does he start the season? Is he going to be placed on PUP? Like, what is this thing? Like, what are we dealing with here? But yes, at where I have him right now, which is in that like 70s range, I think he is still a good bet on upside pick because I start to really not like the running backs in range anyways. You'd rather have Ridley over DK ADP wise? They're not really that far apart. I mean, like Ridley went 3 picks behind DK here. So sure. But if you're drafting in this range, ADP doesn't matter because you're not going to get him in the next pick. So I don't agree with that. Ted will have a decent floor. I think they're talking about Ted for something. Fading Godwin, especially with Evans. They lost Cohen, 2 surgeries with Godwin. Yeah, the loss of Cohen certainly hurts. 2 surgeries isn't great. But, like, had he not had the second surgery, had he been good to go, like he would have been good to go right now. You'd be taking him in like round 5. So you're getting the discount because of the loss of Cohen, because of people projecting regression, because of the surgery. So I think the ADP at this point, now what he's fallen to, has accounted for that. Because remember, he was like the number 2 overall wide receiver before he was crazy good. Like not like A2, like he was like crazy good before getting hurt last year. Did Ted get 1,000 yards? I wouldn't bet on it, but I think he can. Quarterback or tight end late in a 12-team draft? I don't know. It depends what the value is. I would only take Bowers, McBride, or Kittle. So I wouldn't take any of the early ones. So it's do you end up with one of them? And I was seeing if our guy got taken. Do you end up with one of them and what's the quarterback situation look like for you? Sometimes you're just not really in position to take any of them, and that's okay. I'm fine going late for both if that's what it comes down to. But I guess probably tight end early. I don't know. I don't think you can really answer because if you have like a late first round pick, you're not in position to get anyone other than Kittle. So, and if you don't end up with him, I'm not going to like force something else. All right. 155. Strange. We will take Strange. And now probably running back. But it's Algier and it's a Cliff. So I'm not taking anyone that's not Algier. But this guy already has 5 running backs. So why would he take Algier? All right. I think this is working out. I mean, I suppose if he took Algier for some reason, we would I don't even know. I would just be baffled that that occurred. Okay, yeah, we'll get out here. This is working out nicely. Lawrence, Genty, Harvey, Tracy, Algier, Neighbors, JSN, McLaurin, Olave. We got the Downs, Pittman stack, Kyle Williams, Warren is part of the stack, Strange is part of the stack. I love stacking also tight end with quarterback because tight ends get there through touchdowns. And so they have the best correlation. Whenever you can stack your tight end with the quarterback, do it. It's always good for correlation. We got another super chat. Part of Joey again. 10-team, full PPR. Keep JMO in the 10th or Hawkinson in the 15th. Okay. So we're at PPR, right? Let's pull up the PPR rankings. All right, wait for that to load. Wide receiver. Jameson Williams, I have valued. This is for a 12-team league. It's 5'10", so you're looking a little bit later than that, I guess. So like a late 6th round pick. And we're looking at 15th round for Hawkinson. I would rather keep JMO. Difference between, let's see the actual difference here. Hawkinson, it's not that much. It's like a round and a half difference, I guess. Because PPR JMO's not as valuable. It's really close. So it's a round and a half better to go JMO over Hawkinson. You're getting 5 rounds of value. Those 5 rounds don't matter that much, which is part of my hesitation. So 10th round, 15th round, there's a difference, but it's not a crazy difference in value where like it's not 1 round of value, right? So like the difference between, you know, the like 6th round pick and an 8th round pick is way different than a 12th round pick and a 14th round pick. 12 and 14 is basically the exact same pick. There's really not that much difference there. So my gut says I want to go with the just higher value player in JMO. Like you're just getting someone that I trust a little bit more. Oh, but it is technically a slightly better value going Hawkinson. In full PPR, I can definitely see Hawkinson racking up a lot of receptions. All right, I might talk myself into Hawkinson. I think give me the 5-round value. Hawkinson favors full PPR a little bit more. We don't have the unknowns of Ben Johnson leaving. Does this offense get way worse? Is JMO not as involved or not as creatively involved? And in full PPR, JMO's he's not as good of a play. Whereas Hawkinson, you know for 100% certainty you're going to be starting every single week. All right, Hawkinson 15th. I think that's the play. All righty. Where do you think Martin Hampton's ADP settles mid-end August? Where do you think he'll be drafted next season? So I have the full PPR rankings up right now. My guess. So right now I have, all right, hold on. I'll make my pick and then I'll make that guess. But probably 2nd round, to be honest with you. What did we say we were doing here? Oh, we said we were going to go with, did someone take him? They took him at 176. Oh, that's terrible. That's terrible news. Okay. We probably go Cam Ward to just lock in a quarterback that we can backstack. We can get options for Cam Ward. We can go tight end, but really we're probably going to go like Lockett, Ellick. That's very unfortunate. We really wanted, and as part of it didn't even have anyone to stack with. Burrow AR, so he just goes naked AR with no one else. Interesting. Okay. Well, it is what it is. We're not going to go tight end. I'll take Wandell here. I don't really trust these running backs. So I would take Wandell as probably... Oh, we can't do Wandell. All right, we'll take Shipley. I was going to say we go Wandell, but that would probably be our last wide receiver. And we do need to take... Like I like Wandell. I think Wandell's the play there 99% of the time. We kind of have to take like Lockett later on. Like we need someone with Cam Ward here. So... we can go with Chig later. I don't love Chig as a player right now because like he's athletic. He has that weekly upside, but like it doesn't seem like the team really wants to feature him. But like we're gonna need to do something with Cam. Cam's not gonna hit, and we obviously want like to get if Cam Ward hits and we got him at 21 picks of value. Obviously that's gonna really benefit our team. So I haven't seen anything about Alec. I'm going to do a quick search. Have I seen anything here? No. There is nothing. Ew. I just watched a video of here's I just watched this video if anyone wants to see it. Of look at how terrible that is. Like, I could do better than this. I promise you that. What kind of footwork is that? That's terrible. Anyways, let's hope we get Lockett. I'm not drafting Alec. I need some level of hype. I don't know what's happening over there in the wide receiver room, but I'm pretty sure Lockett. Like, I should probably be drafting Lockett a lot more than I am. He's the vet. He's gonna go out there, probably be their best receiver obviously behind Ridley, which I can't get at this point. But he's probably gonna be like their number 2 receiver this season, and he just goes undrafted in a lot of leagues. So I feel like we'll take him. Someone drafted Chig. Oh gosh. Okay, we need to draft Lockett at 203 here. I might just do naked. If I don't get him. Running backs, I mean, you know what? We're going to go with Marshawn Lloyd in the final round. I've been hearing good things about, where'd he go? Giddens, and Giddens at like 190. That's a good pick. I feel like Giddens has that number 2 role just locked in for the Colts. So that's a good play. I guess if we don't go with him, maybe we take a shot on Marks. We have Genty, Harvey, Tracy, Algier, and Shipley. So I think we're good with just one more. Again, Genty, Harvey, I have a lot of confidence in. Then we'll go with one running back. I think we're fine going Warren Strange. You could argue a second tight end, but it would be Waller or Jawan. Like, I would have maybe gone with Chig, but this is not a good range. If you want to take a shot on Gadsden, oh my gosh, Lockett gets taken. That's brutal. All right. I guess we just do uncorrelated. Let's just go Diami, because Diami's also our stack with Trevor. So obviously we should go with Diami. What are we even doing here? All right. That's actually a very good pick for us. And then we'll just, again, what's 11 down? Which is every draft at this point, we're taking Marshawn Lloyd. All right. That's going to be the team. And people are really drafting Ja'Cory Cross-Merritt. I need to move him up probably in the rankings. I don't want to be taking him yet because, I don't know, I don't 100% buy it. But, like, there is a world here where, like, I don't know. I don't think it exists. Do they trade Brian Robinson Jr. to a team that, like, wants running back? I don't know. Is that a possibility? They like him, but he has not been that good. And if they really think this kid is good and they can do him and Eckler, is there a possibility? I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. Okay. But the most likely outcome is that he's a 7th-round rookie that is going to be nothing. Again, final ADP for Hampton, I think he's going to end up being... He'll go behind McCaffrey, Genty, Achane, Henry. I think he's going to go in the, like, Bucky, Chase Brown, Jacobs range. So I think people are going to start taking him in the late 2nd round. Especially, please don't let it happen. If he busts off a long run in the preseason, it's over. It's over. You're not getting him outside. You're not getting him in round 3. So hopefully we can get him in round 3. But we'll see. All right. I don't see any more. I don't see any more like big time questions here. Last question we'll do. How does having a second flex spot on the starting roster change draft strategy? Does it make running back wide receiver more valuable? Where do you draft them? Good shout out for the Draft Strategy app. Or the app that I have. It's free to download, but Draft Strategy part of it, obviously premium. Did a huge study where we collected 5 million sleeper teams to answer that question. To be like, okay, if I add that second flex spot, how do teams fare when they draft their positions? It obviously increases the value of running back and receiver. You have to start. Where's the question? Okay. You don't have to technically, but you're not starting a tight end in that flex spot. So you're going to start a running back or wide receiver in the flex spot. So it becomes an extra spot for those spots. Obviously, they gain more value. Quarterback decreases in value because they have the same value, and running back and wide receiver went up. So I guess quarterback stays the same value. Running back and wide receiver rise. Tight end rises like 1%, which means that you want running backs and wide receivers more. It's not crazy different. I play in that league, and I would still go after a quarterback or a tight end early. So it wouldn't make me not want to draft one of the top 4 to 5 quarterbacks, one of the top 3 tight ends. Like, I'd still go after that, but it makes it more viable to be extreme. So if you wanted to go 3 running backs in a row, it's okay. It's probably still not ideal. But if you want to go 3 wide receivers in a row, if you wanted to, like, you saw huge value, you wanted to be more extreme, you can do that because you can start up to 4 of that position. But again, there's an app or a tool on the app that'll help you do that. All right, must draft running backs tomorrow. Must draft wide receivers on Friday. Camp news on Saturday. Big week of videos. You guys are definitely going to want to be watching all the videos this week. But I'll catch you guys all on the stream, 6 p.m. Eastern next Tuesday. Till then, see you guys.